So today we are looking at Nikke, which is arguably up there as one of the most popular Union Arena sets to have come out. It has pen signed serialized cards in it worth several thousands of dollars, which is very common for Union Arena sets these days. They seem to be doing this in so many sets. We've got this set, Sword Art Online, Attack on Titan, Bleach Volume 2, Dr. Stone, Black Clover, all getting those pen signed serialized cards. I've probably missed a few as well, but this is something they are doing as much as they can, and as a collector I think it's incredible. So there's actually a picture here of the pen signed serialized card from Nikke. So here we've got number 12 with the signature on there, and this was on Mercari for like 1.25 million yen, which I think was around 8,000 US dollars. So that gives you an indicator of how much potentially some of these cards can be worth. Now, this set is actually, I believe, as far as I'm aware, the first Union Arena set to get an official reprint, and that's why I'm putting it up there as one of the most popular. Don't get me wrong, like Sword Art Online was massive as well, and that came out around a similar time, I think just potentially a little bit before this set. But if you don't know, because I'd never heard of this IP before, this is not an anime, this is a mobile video game. It then got exported and you can play it on a PC as well. So this is a third person shooter. All the characters are these kind of waifu characters. It's quite lewd and revealing. The cards obviously represent similar things, which is why this has been popular. Generally in these kind of anime based TCGs and sets, lewd cards normally go down really well in terms of popularity and prices. They usually end up being very desired. So if we scroll down here, we can just see some of that gameplay. So as you can see, it's a third person shooter with these anime girls, and let's just skip ahead. We can see some of the cards I think that they showed off. So as you can see, you can kind of get the gist of this game by looking at these animations and the cards, right? So that shows you a lot of the set and the characters and the cast. But yeah, we also had signed cards. So the 2-star, the 3-star had signatures of the voice actors, like hot stamped, printed on there, not pen signed. But the reprint was announced here, and on that announcement you can see that they mentioned that in the reprint there will not be the inclusion of that pen signed serialized card. So you can still pull all those other cards, and even the signed cards, the 3-star SR, which I'll show you in a minute, that's worth over $1,000 on its own. So even with this not there, there's still so many cards worth a lot of value, and there's still loads of other signed cards worth several $100s in this set. And obviously if you're looking for a booster box before the reprint, so if you're looking for one of these original boxes, it's going to be ridiculously expensive and very hard to find, given that a lot of these would have been opened looking for these serialized cards. Now with that said, obviously Attack on Titan is yet to come out, and that's already been allocated, so potentially Attack on Titan could be more popular. I think we just have to wait until that is released and we see what happens. I'd be very surprised if the Attack on Titan set doesn't get a reprint, given that, yeah, there's already been allocations into orders for stores and things, so they're already not able to fulfill as much as what was ordered. So yeah, expect a reprint on that, and I would expect exactly the same situation, that the serialized pen signed Attack on Titan action point cards won't be in that reprint. So if you want a chance at getting that, you're probably going to have to pay above, retail to try and secure a box if you can find one. I paid £80 to get one for the channel. That's including shipping, so obviously bear that in mind. But that is like a lot more than it should cost for a booster box. Typically, I think retail price probably about £35 or something like that, and then a little bit for shipping. But yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I'd imagine now it might even be more expensive than that. But as it stands, I would put this as up there as one of the most popular sets to come out. Sword Art Online, probably very close, but the only difference is that it didn't actually get a reprint for whatever reason, but this set has. So let's just look at the cards. Let's see what else you can get in the set. Obviously, we've looked at this serialized action point, very expensive card, But I'm going to head on over to TCG Republic. Now, usually I'll go to Yute because the pricing's more accurate. Obviously, unless something is sold out, you might not, the price might not be that accurate. But I prefer it for these videos because you can just see the images better. So TCG Republic obviously is an English site, and you can just order these Japanese cards directly from there and they will ship to you. Whereas if you go to Yute, that is a Japanese site, and you can buy from there if you've got mail forwarding, but obviously that's a lot more effort. But yeah, just in terms of the video, I want to use TCG Republic. I would never personally quote prices, buying or selling based on TCG Republic prices. They are generally overinflated for that use of, it's an English site, you don't have to mail forward if you want to buy from here. Obviously this is out of stock, but I believe this, I think this roughly is around, let's just double check, USD, not USB. Yeah, like $1,800. So obviously that's quite different in price. Now, bear in mind that it is out of stock. But yeah, I generally won't quote these prices. But we're just here to look at the shiny special cardboard and see what it looks like. And it just works a lot easier and better on TCG Republic. The images are better. So that is the 3-star SR. So if you're picking up the reprint, this is the card you're going to want to pull. This is the chase card, most expensive card in the set, the 3-star SR rarity, which isn't mapped per case. You could get lucky and hit a 3-star in a case, you might not. You just simply have no idea. So after that, we've got some 2-stars, which obviously the prices are quite high here, but I'm pretty sure that they're not as expensive as that. You can see here that we can pick up a couple of 2-stars. They're still quite expensive. And then I guess those more expensive ones are potentially not available. But yeah, for example, this one is $1,200 US, whereas significantly cheaper on Yute if you know how to buy from Japan. I did a video on it. If you are interested, go check it out on the channel. But yeah, so as you can see, plenty of cards. These all have the signatures stamped on them. And we've got a load of 2-star signed cards, and there's a lot of value in there. And also, as we get to the 1-star parallel cards here, you can see we've got quite a few lewd cards. Now they are a lot cheaper, even on TCG Republic, like $100. And that is simply because in a booster box, you're getting a 1-star card as a minimum per box, right? So you're going to get a 1-star. Now there are a lot of 1-stars, and if we keep scrolling, you can see that there are definitely some cheaper 1-stars out there. We've got some at like $20, $25, and yeah, some at over 100. But even if you get the minimum box here and you get like a 1-star, 1-star, are they based off of an SR? Yeah, that's a 1-star rare parallel. But yeah, as you can see, the kind of artwork, the images, fairly lewd. I mean, especially this one here. Yeah, I mean, even without that pen signed card, there's still a lot of value. Now obviously these prices are quite likely to drop given a reprint comes out. There's going to be more supply of it and things like that. I'd expect all of them to potentially drop, but generally speaking, I think it's, even if they dropped by 50%, you've still got like a lot of value there. And it is a popular set. So those are the cards from the set. I'm sure you can see why the set potentially did so well, despite maybe not everyone knowing the IP. I'm sure there'd be people out there that do know it. But for those of you that don't know, Weiss Schwarz did actually announce that they're getting Nikke coming out in Japanese. But not only that, English Weiss Schwarz announced that it's also coming for other languages, right? So Nikke is coming to Weiss Schwarz in English. We've got no idea of when that's happening. It's coming to Japanese, I believe, at the end of the year for Weiss Schwarz. So although Union Arena was first to market with the Japanese side of it, potentially Weiss Schwarz might be first to market with English, because Union Arena English doesn't come out till the end of the year. And with that, this set is at the moment not on the list. They're starting with, we've got Hunter x Hunter, we've got Bleach, and we've got Jujutsu Kaisen, and then we've got Code Geass, One Punch Man. I believe there was another one, but I forgot. But they're starting with those kind of mainstream shonen IPs. I mean, this has only just come out not long ago in Union Arena Japanese, so you know, even if it follows the same order, if it does come to Union Arena in English, it won't be for quite some time. What will be really interesting to see here is, though, how it all sort of performs. When it comes to Weiss Schwarz Japanese, or even when it comes to Weiss Schwarz English, they've never done hand-signed cards. They've never done serialized cards. So from a collector perspective, personally, I would want the Union Arena one. Like, if it comes to English and they do exactly the same thing, I would rather the Union Arena one, because of the collectability of a pen-signed serialized card. It's just insane. Not only that, but you're getting the stamped signed cards as well, which is what Weiss Schwarz will have. They will have those. I'd imagine they're going to have those SSPs or SPs with the signatures on them, which will basically be the equivalent of all of these 3-star and 2-star signed cards, right? This is how they will look, but on a Weiss Schwarz card, and potentially maybe the artwork would be different. It might not, though. We'll have to wait and see. But you know, if you're new to all of this, it is extremely common. Like, Japanese TCGs are very different to English or Western TCGs. It's very common for Japanese TCGs to, each IP is a different, no, that was wrong. Each set is a different IP, and they all quite often get similar IPs. Like, Build Divide had the Bunny Girl set. Weiss Schwarz had, like, that crossover happens all the time, and it's very common out there. But this potentially could be the first time we see it happen in English. I mean, obviously, Weiss Schwarz Union Arena is coming out in English, but the sets they've announced so far, I don't think we've had Weiss Schwarz sets. So if and when Attack on Titan comes to Union Arena English, that might be the first time we see a English Western TCG with multiple IPs that are doing the same sets. I think there's that other TCG, I want to say Universes or something like that. I think they're getting some IPs and anime crossovers, but I don't really see any interest in that. But yeah, I feel like some people might find it surprising that, you know, they're getting the same sets and things like that. But yeah, it's a very common thing to happen in Japan for TCGs compared to our card games, where they're all just their own separate thing, generally speaking, and they don't kind of have those crossovers. Although I feel like some TCGs are starting to kind of explore that and potentially see the success of having crossover sets. I mean, Magic the Gathering is doing it now with, you know, Fallout, Lord of the Rings, all sorts of kind of sets like that. But yeah, to have the same set will be very interesting, because it means we can kind of look at sales, you know, even look at eBay. I feel like eBay's a really good place to see how potentially mainstream something is going. I feel like if you auction a Weiss Schwarz card on eBay, especially here in the UK, most of the time that will sell to someone in the US. So it rarely sells in the UK. But not only that, it's normally a chase card or an expensive card, not necessarily some of those lower rarities. But like, if you go on eBay and you look at Union Arena Japanese, you'll see listings for SRs. You'll see sold items for SRs and some of those lower rarities that maybe are only worth sort of £10. But you don't really see that for Weiss Schwarz, so that's kind of interesting. But obviously, once the Nikke set for Weiss Schwarz comes out, we can kind of do some comparisons. Obviously, we don't have any artwork to go off or anything at all, other than it's just been announced and it's also coming to English. But for me, I think it's going to be super interesting to compare the two, like compare the box prices on both of them. You know, obviously Union Arena's got that pen signed serialized card on that first print of boxes, so that's definitely going to change things. But obviously from a collector perspective, just based on that, you know, I would rather open a box where you can get the pen signed serialized card. If you're a player though, it's very different. You're usually loyal to your card game in the sense that you've invested time and tons of effort learning the meta, how to play. So if a set comes out and you see Nikke and Union Arena and you're like, oh, that would have been amazing if I could get it for Weiss Schwarz. Obviously that news is going to be really good for you, because you can now get that set for a card game that you do play. So yeah, either way, I think super interesting. I love being able to, I don't know, just sort of analyze, speculate, and just see what happens with things, and potentially make my best guess as to what might happen, or what might be more popular, and then see what actually happens, and you know, what things may have changed that, you know, because we're talking months and months off now, right? So things can change very quickly. Union Arena came out, it actually wasn't that popular in Japan at all. Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen being the first sets that came out, stores were selling them at a 50% discount because they just couldn't sell them. So they started selling all of those sets super cheap, and it seems like now they've introduced these pen signed serialized cards. Union Arena's kind of just blown up, and it's gotten super popular compared to when it first came out. Does it mean it will stay that way? Like, no. Like, anything can happen. Things can change drastically at any moment because of so many different variables. So yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. If you did, please hit like and subscribe. And yeah, if you want to see more Weiss Schwarz, Union Arena, or just anime TCG videos, check out the channel, check out the other videos. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.